Welcome back to my Building My Home from Foam series. Now, in my last video, we left off at doing the roof, but somebody said they needed a bit more information on the roof. So I'm gonna see if I can break it down some more because it seemed pretty clear to me, but let me see if I can break it down some more. But before we get into that, let's discuss the invoice for the foams and give you guys a cost breakdown where the foams are concerned. And I posted this on my TikTok, but I don't think I posted it here. So let me show you guys what the cost of the foams looks like for this structure. So this is the invoice here, and the total cost for the foam is $438,000. So this is the foam covered in the rebar steel along with the U-mesh, which I explained in the previous video that this is for the corners of the building. Now the wall panels were 10 feet high, 4 feet wide, 3 inches thick, but you don't have to get them that long. I had them customized to that length, and as I said in the previous video, we had to cut them down after, so that's a bit of a waste. So you can get yours a little shorter, which would make it a little cheaper than the $12,000 per panel plus GCT, of course. And where it says the roof, those panels there are a little more expensive because they are much thicker. And you can see there that we had 4 of those along with the U-mesh for the corners, giving us a total of $438,000 for all the panels that we used for the roof. Now remember, I ended up with 4 extra panels. So technically speaking, it would cost me like $50,000 less had they done the calculations correctly and not sold me those 4 extra panels. But I'm going to use them for the perimeter wall of my yard. So I guess it's not a total waste. Now onto the roof situation. So yes, I use the panels on the lower part of my roof, but the top part of the roof is done in the traditional way. So technically speaking, I ended up with a roof that was twice as high as a regular roof. Now, as you can see here, we run the horizontal 2x4s and the panels go directly on top of that. The steel is coming up through the panel, which is going to be used to connect the top layer that we're going to do, and that is a regular cast. But the top layer will have the horizontal steels and the one that is vertical that came through the beams before we cast it. So just picture that the panels are laid on the bottom of what a regular roof casting will be. I wasn't up there, so I can't give videos of when it was being done, as you can understand. But I don't know, I hope this clarifies your question. So them just put the cast directly on top of the panels, and then when they're finished, they put the cement on the bottom half of the panel that is going to show inside the house. I don't know if that clears things up for you, but you're going to steel up the top part just like regular. So if you wanted to, you could skip the step of using the panels because you're still going to end up with the same expense where roof is concerned, especially if you're going to go upstairs. That is why I made the cast as thick as the traditional roof, because we're going upstairs on top of what is there now. Now if you're not going upstairs, you could just use the panel and not do it as thick on top of that, or you could skip the panel altogether and just do a regular roof and save yourself the expense of the roof panels, because as you can see, the roof panels are more costly. Hope this clears it up. If you still have another question where the roof is concerned, let me know. So after that, it's just a matter of applying the cement mixture to the panels, and you have to do about 3 to 4 layers of this, because you have to keep applying the cement until the grooves can no longer be seen. So as you can see here in the roof, I think this was the second coat of cement that is being applied. You can still see some grooves through that. So they keep doing that until the grooves disappear completely, and the blocks that are placed at the bottom are done so that there is a guide as to how thick it needs to be added, because at the end of the day, it needs to be as thick as the blocks that are at the bottom, so it ends up being the same width as a traditional wall. Now for much larger construction, they'll actually apply the cement mixture with a gun like you're seeing here in this example, but for smaller construction they can do it manually like you saw them doing with my construction. Now, unfortunately, I only have this video of me acting a fool, but if you look behind me, you can see what the walls look like after they've completely added all the mortar to bring it to the thickness that it needs to be, and you can see the depth of the cement on both sides that sandwiches the foam. So after this, it's time for the final rendering to be done, which is the coat of cement that's going to be on the outside. So the walls are done, and then you do window jambs and doors, as you know, and then the roof is done. I gather you don't need to do it in that order, but that's just the order that my builder chose to do it in. And then after all of that was done, we did the floors. For any walls that you see here where the rendering, sorry, wasn't done, that's because those walls are going to be tiled, so we just left them like that. And we did the floors pretty smooth because I'm gonna be doing a concrete finish for the floors, not the traditional tiling. Yes, I know I'm going very non-traditional, so stay tuned for that. But after that, the house is pretty much done, guys. I don't know if I skipped anything. I try to not make it drawn out, so I try to just stick to the point. But if anything you're not clear on, just ask me below. So now we're at the point where we're getting the tiling done and the paint work done, so just stick around for that and continue to watch to see what the final finished product will look like. In case you want to know, this went by pretty quickly. It took 8 working weeks to be done, and here is a list of some of the other materials that were used in addition to the foams. Bye, and see you hopefully next week.